you were to type metric map into a Google image search, one of the things that would pop up would there would be a map of all the countries that have adopted the metric system. Now we are going to use the metric system in this class, um, and the main temperature scale for the metric system is Kelvin. We will also use Celsius to some degree, but because we use the Fahrenheit scale in the United States, you need to be able to convert between Fahrenheit and Celsius and Kelvin as opposed to just Celsius and Fahrenheit. Oh, excuse me, Celsius and Kelvin. So it gives you an extra little bit of an issue in the sense that you have to know another conversion factor that other people in countries around the world don't. But it's not terribly difficult. So if you were to look at this, it says we will always use Kelvin or Celsius in this class depending on the circumstances. A lot of the times we will use the Kelvin scale because the Kelvin scale is what we call an absolute scale. It is an absolute scale because there are no negative temperatures. The lowest possible temperature ever is 0K. In fact, we've never been able to reach, nor will we ever be able to reach absolute 0 Kelvin. So because of that, it's a nice scale to use when we're talking about comparisons and things like that because there's no negative values. When you take and divide by a temperature, if you're dividing by a negative number, it really changes things. So we will use Kelvin or Celsius. Sometimes we'll use Celsius because it's more convenient, but really it should be in Kelvin most of the time. So these are the formulas that you have for the conversion between the two. Now the conversion between Celsius and Kelvin is actually really easy. All you have to do is take the Celsius number and add 273 to it, or take the Kelvin number and subtract 273 to it, and that's the conversion between the two values. Now, to convert between Fahrenheit and Celsius is a little bit trickier because you have to be aware of the order of operation. Okay, whenever you're trying to convert between Fahrenheit and Celsius, the first thing you have to do is subtract 32 from the Fahrenheit. What that does is it actually puts it on the Celsius scale where 0 Celsius is the freezing point of water, 32 Fahrenheit is the freezing point of water, and it kind of starts to compare those values. Then what you have is you have this multiplicative factor right there. And whenever you take that and multiply it by, that's how you convert them. Now, if you're trying to go from Celsius to Fahrenheit, you actually have to take this Celsius and you've got to divide it by that 0.556 number. And then you would add 32. So the order of operation depends on which way you're going, so you need to pay particular attention to that. Like I said, this is the one that we really should be using in this class if we can in any circumstances. So now, the first one says convert 100 Celsius into Kelvin. So you have Kelvin equals 100, Celsius plus 273. So we will say 100 plus 273 equals 373. And that is our temperature in Kelvin. The next one says the temperature in Germany is 38 degrees. How will you dress? Justify your answer. So remember, Germany is one of the countries, all the countries in the world except for the United States, Liberia, and Burma, that use the Celsius scale. So in Germany, when they report the temperature of 38 degrees, they're really reporting 38 degrees Celsius. And you want to know how to dress. Well, in the United States, you're more familiar with the Fahrenheit system. So what we should do is we can convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Now, when we do that, the first step that we would have to do is we'd actually have to divide 38 degrees by 0.556. And then we would add the 32 to it. It's the order of operation reversed. That would give us our Fahrenheit temperature. And when you put that in the calculator, if you do the correct order of operation, you should get a Fahrenheit temperature of about 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can choose your wardrobe based on that, but the general idea is you'd wear shorts or some sort of light colored t-shirt. You wouldn't be wearing jackets and heavy coats or pants like you would if it was 38 degrees Fahrenheit. So just be aware of where you are and what temperature scale people are talking about when they say, hey, it's 38 degrees outside.